Hello and good evening. Very warm welcome to all the participants in the 7th batch of 7 Days Executive Development Program. My sincere gratitude to ICAI President, CA Nehar Jambusarya sir, ICAI Vice President, CA Dr. Devashish Mitra sir, ICAI Acting Secretary, CA Dr. Jaykumar Batra sir, and all Central Council members of ICAI. This program by Committee for Members in Industry and Business is under the leadership of Central Council members, Chairman C.A. Hansraj Chugh sir and Vice Chairman C.A. Durgesh Kabra sir. The vision of Chugh sir and Kabra sir has allowed us to come this far, wherein we are doing this batch for those who qualified in November 2017 and subsequent examinations. When we were preparing our students in January 2021 for the campus program, this initiative started as an alternative to orientation program, and this has got extended further, where we have now planned to cover this initiative for those students who qualified in the last 5 years and are now members of ICAI. We are very happy with the feedback we have got from you. Let me remind you that from where you are watching on webcast link, there is a recorded webcast area where all the initial sessions which have happened since April 21st are available, and also on ICAI YouTube channel. Today, we have a very special session, and before that, let me extend the apologies from the chairman and vice chairman who were supposed to attend and inaugurate this batch but could not attend due to some urgencies. And they will be coming in any of these following days and will be sharing their thoughts and wisdom with you all. In our initial batches, we have covered most part of the regions, and today we thought that we cover those countries which has a significant presence and are closely connected either through economy or through the geographical boundaries. And that's how Singapore, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, China, and Japan is the countries from where we have panelists today. So the panelists will be exploring and unlocking the opportunities in these part of the regions, and our panel moderator, C.A. Kala Subramanian, will be sharing more insights on what will happen today. Before that, allow me to introduce to all of you Kala, and then the screen will be hers. Kala is the first lady chairperson of ICAI Singapore chapter, and she was the first chairperson. She was the chairperson in the year 2021. So she is immediate chairperson of the chapter. Kala is currently working with Enam Asset Management Singapore Pte Limited as COO and director. She has more than 24 years of work experience in investment management, corporate finance, strategy. She has diversified leadership roles and was part of the management team in corporate restructuring, risk management, financial management. A commerce graduate from the University of Madras, she is a chartered accountant, a certified public accountant from Australia, and a management accountant from India. She also holds a degree in ICAI. She is a director in Enam subsidiaries and funds. She is a regular speaker and contributor in professional forums in Singapore and in India. She is a classical dancer, singer, and loves to travel. She traveled a lot and lived in few countries before moving to Singapore. She has been part of various non-performing organizations' activities. Kala, my sincere gratitude to you for being a panel moderator and also to all the panelists. Very happy to have you here. Your profile says you are a singer, a dancer, and I could very well see, the initiatives which you had brought in Singapore chapter last year to connect the families and children in the COVID times, which has been, many of the chapters and members all across the world have seen that. And I would also like to share that, when our speakers or panelists share their co-curricular activities, then sometimes some of our audience members ask that you have been so busy that how you could spend time in that. And that is where we are able to pass the message to our members, young members, that never forget our interests, because that is where I think the profession and interest all goes together. And I know that most of the panelists here have their different interests, and that may come through in the panel. And that will make, when the experiences of our members come, the stories come, that makes a significant difference in the lives of our young members. And those who may be watching live now or will watch later will remain there for our members to continuously succeed. So I request all our members to please give a big virtual round of applause to Kala. And Kala, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Piri. Good evening. Congratulations to all the new chartered accountants. We would like to thank the chairman, CA Hansraj Chuk, and vice chairman, CA Durgesh Kabra, secretary, Mr. Ranganathan, and coordinator, Mr. Prabdeep, for giving us this opportunity. It is through curiosity and looking at opportunities in new ways that we have always mapped our path. In the middle of difficulty lies the opportunity. The most valuable investment is education, where our new young chartered accountants have got this. And this education has created an opportunity. To see an opportunity, we must be open to all thoughts. Today, let us hear the thoughts of all our esteemed panelists on these opportunities. On our first session, the first panelist, I would like to invite CA Krishna Dokania from Japan. Krishna started his career with Infosys after qualifying CA, CS, BCom honors. First, working in Bangalore headquarters, he was assigned as financial controller for Japan business of Infosys in May 2014. After a very successful career in different roles, for almost 7 years, Krishna moved to Asahi Metals as financial controller in Toyokawa, Japan for 2 years. Finding his interest back in IT internet industry, Krishna joined Rakuten, which is biggest e-commerce player of Japan, having offices around the world. Rakuten is one of the biggest conglomerate in Japan. Krishna is heading the finance function of CDO office as a key reportee to Chief Data Officer of Rakuten, with a wonderful team who aims at handling end-to-end finance function of all businesses covered under CDO office. Krishna, reading your profile, you seem to have transitioned from an Indian company to Japanese company seamlessly. What is that one should keep in mind when transitioning between different cultures? What are the key attributes which they should be working on to be ready to make transitions?
Thank you so much, Kala, and I would really congratulate everybody as well, and thank you for this opportunity. So like you mentioned in your question, I think one of the great thing when we actually think from India perspective, our India itself is so diverse that, we kind of have all the cultures around there, and we can, one of the positive things that I have thought and I have already reckoned with is there are so many things that we already see in our cultures in India. So there are a couple of things what I would suggest is always watch a lot of international movies of different cultures, so that you kind of relate and can see. Second, especially for Japanese companies question that you mentioned. So one of the critical things like which we all know is about the punctuality, for example, the timing. I remember that knowing even within, for example, if there's a meeting at 9 a.m., becoming and coming in the meeting at 8:55 a.m. is actually on the time. If you come at 9 a.m. itself, it's already late. So those kind of things are there. Another point is also about language. So if there are, especially in Asia, if it is about not about US or UK, we also have another very advantage if we go through a language courses. And in fact, we are also trying in ICAI to partner with language companies. Recently, we actually have started Spanish as well, if students and members must know. So those also will really help you if we pick up languages like Japanese or in fact Chinese or Spanish or any other languages as well. So that becomes a really advantageous situation as well for us. Also choose when there are chances, there are campus interviews also, you can always choose for companies which have more multinational presence, which will help you move around the countries and also have global career that way. So that would be my answer. Thank you, Kala.
Yeah, thanks. Culture is relative. You have to be open-minded and use your observation skills. And I think it is also okay to experience anxiety when you have different cultures. And as you said, India itself is diverse. That punctuality is the one which we need to learn from Japan. And it's also good to know about the language initiative you mentioned. Thanks, Krishna. And moving on now to the second panelist, we have Prabhat Kumar from Malaysia. CA Prabhat is a chartered accountant, is a corporate director with 20 plus years experience as a forensic accountant and a senior compliance and risk professional. He had founded own forensic accounting practice in August 2006, Alliance IFA. He is an expert in economic damage quantification, compliance, ethics, forensic accounting, and many more. And because of his expertise on numerous occasions, he has appeared as an expert witness at various honorable high courts in Malaysia. He is also a co-author and contributing author of few books on his area of expertise. Apart from being the founding and current chairman of Malaysia chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, he was also a contributor as part of the study group of ICAI India, tasked to develop standards for forensic accounting practice. Prabhat was instrumental in having Mutual Recognition Agreement, MRA, signed between ICAI India and MICPA Malaysia. And coming to the questions, you are someone who is deeply entrenched in use of technology. What are the key technology skills that need to be developed by CAs now itself to avoid being the backbencher in next 5 years?
Thank you, Kalaji. I am also thankful to ICAI to have organized such a beautiful program for accountants. Tokania, you have correctly said 5 minutes. If you come at 9 o'clock, you are already late. 8:55 is the time if you are reaching there. It's very correct. In Malaysia also, we have almost the same culture. We always reach 5 minutes early than we schedule time. So this is important message to my Indian counterpart chartered accountants. You must understand that time is money. And new chartered accountants, I will only say wherever we are today, I think all our colleagues who are here, because we are open-minded. If we are open-minded and ready to learn, we can certainly upscale ourselves very fast. In this technological advancement, where traditional approach is fast shedding its color, we need to change the way we are currently working or used to work 2-3 years back. Change is extremely fast currently. So new chartered accountants has to understand that CA qualification of a chartered accountant is now a base from base education or base qualification for you. Unless you put other feathers in your hat, you won't be marketable as fast as possible to ride on the ladder of corporate world or in the profession. Accountants who are relatively young increasingly need to educate themselves as digital technologists, including some knowledge about cloud computing, robotic process automation, we call it RPA, and these are very essential. Accountants and professionals must evolve smartly with digital technology. Rapid globalizations of reporting standard and disclosure of standards become a challenge for our profession. Now, I just give you one example. Earlier, in Malaysia, number of big accounting firms, they used to bring chartered accountants from India as expatriate employees. Now, recently I came across three accounting firms. They have engaged directly with the accounting firm in India, and they are outsourcing this very important area of taxation, we call it transfer pricing, and get it done in India online and used as a product in Malaysia for their clients. Now you can imagine, means all those chartered accountants who are being recruited only because of the expertise. Indian chartered accountants are extremely good in taxation because our tax system is really, it is so complex that if you master Indian tax, you can be winner in any part of the world, I can assure you. So these chartered accountants who used to come are now becoming obsolete or become obsolete after a certain period of time. If suppose they do not enhance their ability to do something else which normal chartered accountants through online cannot do for them. So this is one of the examples which I am telling you. And at the same time, I will also like to say that smart software systems, we are also doing the same thing. A platform that can have 360-degree view of the client's entire operation at our office itself. So it is important, and you must get yourself acquainted with all these latest gadgets or latest instruments which are important. I would like to just mention here about Atul Gupta ji's, our past president, who has mentioned in one of his deliberations that accountant must equip themselves with A, B, C, D. And I really liked it. A stands for artificial intelligence, B stands for blockchain, C stands for computing, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and D stands for data analysis. Now, I feel the importance of these four is overtaking. Yes, analytical part, machine is doing in a different way. The way we correlate is entirely different, and machine still can't replace our human mind because we are more creative and we can see various dimensions of a problem faster without giving commands to the computer. So we are certainly superior, and certain regular type of activities like in forensic accounting, a lot of things we used to do earlier, we call it basic understanding about the operation and analysis and finding the anomalies in order to zoom in the area where we have to work. But now these all things are being done. There are two reasons for that. We have to reduce the cost, because if we do not reduce the cost and time, we will be out of the business. So this is very, very important, and I think Institute of Chartered Accountants has correctly taken a right action on right time by having, I think they have developed a center of excellence in Hyderabad. Now, when I went through that center on website, of course I didn't visit it. There are a number of courses which can upscale you. Please visit those websites and enroll yourself, update yourself, and upscale yourself. You will be the winner, I can assure you. Yes, Kalaji.
Yeah, thanks, Prabhaji. I think you well said. The traditional approach is far-setting color and put other feathers in your head if you have to be marketable. And as Atulji mentioned, every chartered accountant needs to be equipped with this ABCD. And I also like to mention about like one more thing what Atulji said when you say upskill, reskill, and also unlearn and relearn. So by understanding technology better, you can feel much more confident and comfortable in your role, work more efficiently and smarter. Thanks, Prabhaji. And moving on to the next panelist is C. Srinivasan Venkita Padmanabhan, who's fondly called as Venkat. C.A. Venkita is currently working as President, Finance of Olam International Limited Group. He is a senior member of Finance Executive Committee, Finance Talent Management Committee, and member of Operational Committee of Olam Group. Apart from his various profiles with Olam, he is also a board member of Management Development Institute of Singapore Governing Council, treasurer of Singapore Indian Fine Arts, and founder of Investment Club and advisory board member of many private limited companies. He is a regular speaker and contributor in professional industry forums, both in Singapore and internationally. And he is also the founder of Infinity Forum. He is someone who believes in the sharing and learning journey and strongly believes in his 8 I principles: insight, influence, involve, impact, inspire, institutionalize, introspect, and inclusive. His why has meaningfully touched as many people's lives as possible and leaves a positive legacy. Venkat, you are an active participant at various forums and bodies and also a speaker. What are the things the newer generation should be keeping in mind when they start participating in such activities? While I was reading the profile, I want to ask you how the 8I principles has shaped your outlook towards everything.
Thank you, Kala. Good evening, friends. I think whichever part of the world you are there, happy good evening. And first of all, congratulations. You are now the proud Indian chartered accountant. We have operations in about 70 countries. We are a $33 billion company employing 70,000 people. I've seen over 27 plus 3 years of the earlier experience all over the world. Nobody equal to Indian chartered accountant. So first of all, congratulations for achieving that fantastic degree as your prefix. That title will remain till you die or even after that. All the titles will come and go. So congrats for that. So having qualified CA, that's it. You are encashed, right? Forget about it. That's only an entry status. You have to be like a child, like curiosity, want to learn and continue to learn. It's a lifelong learning. The VUCA world, things are changing so dramatic. What is relevant yesterday has got no meaning today. The technology advancements, like you know that today IBM Watson can replace 30 plus 50 lawyers' time, 1 year time in a couple of days. Technology is overtaking. So the only way you can remain relevant is the childlike curiosity of volunteering yourself in every forum, how you can participate and do it. Now, when you talk about 8I, it's my own proprietary 8I principle, because what matters in this world, nobody got time. That's why now there is a statement called 1 minute reading. If you can't communicate what you want to communicate in your iPhone or whatever phone you use, in this screen, you can't give the insight. There is a lot of data, plenty of data. But what is missing is the insight. So you should be insightful in giving your data. But you're not a consultant. You can't just give insight and leave it unless you get involved. But you can't get involved and leave it unless you are able to influence. That's the art of communication. So you need to be an exceptional communicator. That's only by which you can influence people to ask them to take action. If they take action, you create impact. Because as you know, as a functional people, we are not profit generating directly. We are supporting the business. That means you have to create an impact, you have to create value, and only then you exist. So hence it is important that that's the fourth type. But if you do the impact, you will be individual contributor. You have to share the story, so you inspire. The more you inspire, you grow up as a leader, and that's what matters, because leadership is what will create institution. Then only then you will create institution. It's not an individual who is contributing. If you do all that, it's not good enough, because you have to be inclusive. There will be people with fantastic abilities, or some areas they are specialists. You have to use gender disparity. You have to bring them on board. Different nationalities you have to bring in board. All that is called inclusiveness, right? Including special needs and everybody. And lastly, don't be in the rat race running around morning to evening. Take out some time for introspection. I call it as 10 minutes reflection every day. Look at your eyes and say that how the day has gone by. What kind of insight you generated? Are you better than yesterday? And that is what will dramatically change your life. All the very best, guys. Continue to be a childlike curiosity to learn every day, every moment from everybody. You will learn from a tea lady. You will learn from big presidents in the world, right? Continue this learning journey. All the very best. Over to you, Kala.
Yeah, thanks. I think well said. Curiosity must continue to learn. And you said create a value, and leadership is all to create an institution. Yes, that's very true. And now the benefits of joining an association is also important, because it creates a professional relationship, and joining a group, I think that allows you to have a sense of security and trust. So, from this, you're able to support and help one another and reaching your goals. And you also said about all your 8 eyes. Thanks, Venkat, for that. And moving to the next panelist is CEO Vinod Menon from Hong Kong. CEO Vinod Menon is a fellow member of the ICAI and an international affiliate member of the Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants. He is the founding director of an accounting and secretarial practice in Hong Kong, wherein he is heading both operations and the compliance verticals. He is a man who is known for his capabilities of setting up systems and processes. He is a man who always see to that things always comply with regulatory and ethical standards. He is also the founder director of Bricks and Mortar, a licensed company training investors on UK property investments. Vinod, you are having an accounting and secretarial practice in Hong Kong. I think this is one of the traditional practice for CAs, especially outside India in many countries. How the expectations of the clients have changed over the years, and how one needs to keep adapting to those change in expectations.
Thank you, Kala. Before I start, let me just congratulate the new batch for qualifying to be chartered accountants. Welcome to the profession. Great having you guys wherever you are in the world. When I first came to Hong Kong about 8 years ago to set up the accounting practice of my own company, what I saw really amazed me. Most of you would know that Hong Kong is not as regulated market as India or any other market. So in terms of compliances, it's very simple. It's not the kind of complicated compliances that you would see in other parts of the world. So the accounting practice that evolved over a period of time was purely oriented towards compliance, where accounts would be prepared for the purpose of filing of taxes and ensuring the year-end audit is completed and the taxes are paid, and that's it. The business would continue as normal. The whole concept of getting information out of the accounting data was totally absent. So when I started the business, I started focusing on providing valuable information to the client companies. So essentially, we started focusing on setting up cloud computing, customizing reports to ensure that it fits with the industry need, took the efforts of understanding the industry in which the businesses operates, using benchmarking techniques to ensure that our clients are performing at the most optimum level. And over a period of time, we realize that our clients, who are otherwise very seasoned businessmen, people who are highly trained professionals in their profession, relying on us to provide information that that is so important for them to conduct their business, right from strategic acquisitions to mergers to buyouts, anything they would consult us before they take business decisions. So essentially what I've seen is that I've seen this transition happening from the clients who would be looking at accounting and finance only from a compliance perspective to them wanting more and more as probably you can say outsourced CFO, a service that would be provided by a in-house CFO had there been an in-house CFO. Compliances have also, become more and we are moving more and more into the regulatory framework with the anti-money laundering regulations, the data privacy regulations, which is applicable across industry spectrum today. So, as the businesses change, as the dynamics change, and as one of the previous speakers told about blockchain and cloud, the ABCD that chartered accountants should remember. These are things that you're seeing the transition happening right in front of your eyes. And therefore, I concur with the view that your CA qualification is just the first step. You continuously need to keep learning new things. The additional courses that the institute is offering and different external courses, so that, and not only formal courses, like Krishna talked about language skills. Now, these are all things that you need to inculcate to be a better professional. Have I answered your question, Kala?
Yeah. And you think nowadays, because there is also increased competition, right, Vinod? So how do you the customers also have more options nowadays because of the increased competition? So is that putting pressure on the business? Anything on you?
Not really, in the sense that actually competition helps, because what happens is when there is competition, the whole industry evolves and people realize, at least the requirement of an outsourced accountant need not be sold because your competitors are already selling it. Then it's only the question of, putting yourself that how you are better than the rest of the world. So I am happy to have more competition.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Vinod. I think the healthy competition is always preferred. And as you rightly said, we see more and more towards this compliance, regulatory, data, privacy, extra. And it is also important that it's not only do we have the CA qualification, but we need to keep upgrading ourselves. And as you said, language skill or the other courses. Thank you for that. And moving on to the next panelist, we have CA Devaki Nandan from Indonesia. CA Devaki is a chartered accountant with 30 plus years post-qualification experience. He has been in Indonesia for more than 29 years. He has an extensive experience in different multinational and local business environment, which includes manufacturing as well as service industry. Started journey with Grasam in India and currently working as finance director at Kantar. It's a multinational market research company. He strongly believes in work hard but work smart. Keep learning new things. Follow your passion. Lyricist and composer, and has many songs to his credit. An Indonesia album to his credit as composer. Also, a few of Hindi songs reasonably popular. Everything is available on his YouTube. Nandanji, to you have been a chartered accountant for more than 3 decades now. How the perception about Indian CAs have changed over the years, and also what is that which has remained constant?
So let me start in the reverse order here. So I will focus what has remained constant, what has not changed. CAs have been traditionally recognized for understanding of operating canvas. When I say this means which are, core accounting, finance, tax, and other areas of operations like legal, HR, and other operations, areas of other operations. Now these have remained constant over the years. One important thing is also CAs are always associated with trust. So these things are constant, remain constant. Now I'm making a great statement. I will not say it's a great statement, but it's a true statement. Other than this, what has remained constant is change. Change is the only constant. I remember 35 years back when we used to do articleship and even getting trial balance tallied. Why used to be a great achievement. No, so the change is the only constant. Now with so much available technology, AI, and combined with intrinsic nature and capability of chartered accountants of dealing with large number of data, huge data, CAs are interested with leadership roles, envision growth, initiating innovation, and it's more than normal business partnering role. In simple words, I would call CFO as Chief Future Officer. So that is a big change. Now, with the traditional role, now they are Chief Future Officer. So it has changed from looking into the rear view mirror to anticipating through the front windshield. CAs are now de facto entrepreneurs. I'll end with this. Thanks.
Okay. So you want to add about the perception of change, to add anything more to that?
No, the thing is, trust has increased, and given one thing, the natural capability of CAs, to handle large volume of data, that has really helped. There's an added advantage to all CAs here.
Right. So the basic principles of accounting have more or less remained the same. The technology that used to support accountancy has drastically improved over the past decade. I think it's a new technology used in accounting and new avenues. And thanks Nandanji for that. And we now move to the next panelist, CA Ashish Verma. CA Ashish is a finance and tech leader who strongly believes that finance executives can drive business performance and build competitive advantage through their knowledge and grit. Their vision, technical and business acumen are always special, which are sought after by any ambitious organization. Ashish is currently working as head of finance of Kirby International and managing finance and IT functions for APEC region. Before working with Kirby in Vietnam, he worked in multiple countries with people from diverse background in Kuwait, UAE, and India. He has more than 13 years of experience working in various finance verticals. He is also a tech enthusiast. Who promotes adoption of technology to drive business results and to transform business through use of automation, analytics, and data science. He is a chartered accountant from India, a fellow member of CPA Australia, and an executive alumni of IIM Calcutta. Ashish, being a tech enthusiast who promotes adoption of technology to drive business results and to transform business through use of automation, analyticals, and data science. Where do you think our profession is moving towards, and how the traditional CA roles of accounting, auditing, and taxation will look like in next 5 to 10 years?
Thank you, Ms. Kala. Thank you for the question, and thank you for the opportunity for being on this panel. As I see how the finance profession or the accounting profession is moving, I generally go back to 1980s and 1990s, and I see how the accounting practices used to be different country-wise, and we didn't have any kind of set standards for anyone. But now moving into 2000 or 2010 decade, we know like standardization is coming in. We have IFRS, other things are getting converged. So we have already passed on that area where all the world has to come together in accounting. Now the profession is moving on next step. And what is that next step is basically now everything is done through computers. And how do we see? And now I will say that the role of finance professional is changing from being a finance head or a CFO to a more of a finance business partner. And what is finance business partner is you have to work with business and for the benefit of business. And when you have to work with and for the benefit of business, so as Mr. Venkat said, like you have to be an influencer in who can influence the decision making. So you have to see whether that part is being done. And how I see in current world where a lot of data is there, we do multiple analysis. Like previously, the rule was like you used to do descriptive analysis, or we were best at the diagnostic analysis. So we were saying, okay, these are the numbers. And this is what they are telling. But how I see now the profession is changing is going towards the other analysis part, which is more of a predictive and prescriptive. So in predictive, you tell them, okay, what is going to happen with this data set, let's say 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, whatever plan you are making. And prescriptive is you help them to take advantage of the data. Let's say you have a certain set of customers. So you know, okay, what is the customer habit? And you can prescribe them particular product. Okay, this is the product which you should sell to this particular customer, and that will drive extra revenue. So what I'll say, like role of CAs is changing in this direction. So be more towards who can drive the business and how things go on. So to answer specifically how the accounting, auditing, and taxation is changing, I'll say accounting is changing more towards going into a more standardized way. For example, I just read a case study on JD.com, which is one of the e-commerce provider in China. So they have launched e-invoicing through blockchain. So what is happening? A lot of these things are coming into blockchain kind of platform. So you have one set of data which goes everywhere. So you don't have 2 or 3 mirror image of one data. There is one data you can pick from there. So accounting is going to be very standardized. And when we come to auditing, I'll say a role of auditors will also involve. Currently, they generally go into and seeing, okay, how the things are coming in, what is this expense for, what is the analysis behind it. But what will happen down the line, they will more go into system. Okay, this transaction is coming from this area, whether these parameters which have been put into the system are valid or no. So their role will change into that prospects. And if we see from a taxation perspective, a lot of new things will come in terms of, let's say, if we take example of cryptocurrencies are coming in. So it's a very decentralized kind of currency. So if you are making gain, what should be your domicile, which is the country in which you should be a resident? So that kind of questions we need to answer. And I need like CA profession or the ICAI will play a very critical role in this, like what is required to be done. Then another thing I'll say, there are a lot of reg tech companies are coming in, which is regulatory tech. So all this tax compliance, which we do, other compliance will kind of be automated. And since we have the knowledge of this, like what is required to be done. So we can be the product developer or the product owner who can tell the industry what products are required to be made to go with this compliance. So what I'll say, it's our role basic will remain same. So once you qualified for as a chartered accountant, you have the knowledge, you have everything which you need at the current stage. But what you need to build upon it is become more on how the industry is moving on. So industry is moving towards the tech trends. So you have to make yourself sellable in the market. That sellable can be for any ambitious company. It can be for your own entrepreneur ventures. So you have to decide what you have to do. But as other panelists also said, you have to learn, you have to unlearn, and you have to relearn. And this process will keep going. Like I'm a qualified chartered accountant from 13 years. And I remember whatever I read in 2011 it has already changed. I have to keep learning. And this concept which has been given ABCD is, I'll say, in current situation, this is the best that you have to learn. But 2 years down the line, 4 years down the line, you don't know what is going to happen. So keep your mind open and just say, okay, whatever is there, we are capable. We have 2 capabilities, which is problem solving and critical thinking. So if we apply these 2 basic techniques, we can learn anything, we can unlearn anything, and we can relearn anything. So this is, I mean, these are the principles which I follow. And with new chartered accountants who are coming in, I mean, I'll give them the same advice. Keep yourself open. Never get scared of anything. I mean, if you have cracked the chartered accountant examination, you can do anything in the world. And not only in accounting area, go to any area, be it business, be it your personal interest and all. You will do that. So just keep that in mind. I mean, this is how I'll summarize this. And back to you, Ms. Kala.
Yeah, well said, Ashish. Very practically, I think you spoke. And as also Prabhaji said, put other feathers in your head if you have to be marketable. That's what you said, you make available, saleable in the market. And what is needed now is a problem solving and critical thinking. Change is only constant. We need to embrace that. The rise of technology in the accounting industry also has brought an aspect of creativity to the role of an accountant, right? You need to be from the finance executive to become the finance partners. And I think that these advancements in accounting technology have brought more accuracy, meticulousness, and also thoroughness to the profession. And this will never stop. Unlearn, relearn, upskill, reskill. Thanks, Ashish. Now, to Krishna, over to you. As they say nowadays, data is a new oil. And you are someone who works on this new oil extensively, has head of finance function of CDO, Chief Data Officer, Office of Rakuten. As the future is all about these new areas, what are the specific skill sets the new age chartered accountants need to work on to stamp their authorities on these non-traditional areas?
Thank you, Kala. And I must say, so many wonderful discussions from all the panelists, so many points to pick on. And, I think Venkat mentioned briefly about the insights and, the summary that should be there on, just in few lines and kind of should fit into your phone screen. This is the kind of request I always get from my boss that, don't give me just numbers, talk about insights. And, this is exactly what is expected from us after, we qualified chartered accountants. Especially this is the message I wanted to give to all the recently qualified ones that, of course, we did articleship, we have passed the CAs. Now it's time that you will be landing into the real world and helping managements to take decisions and, business decisions, which will come from those numbers and the insights that we actually drive, right? So this is, and of course, now coming to your main question, Kala, about the data part, right? We can see around the world how exactly data is important. You look at your Apple Watch or Fitbit or anything around us right now, right? Everything is collecting the data. There's a huge discussions about the data privacy as well, about what data should be captured, what should not be captured, how the customer trends are there. I think Ashish also briefly touched upon one of the topic of data science. So there are a lot of behavioral studies happening based on the data, right? In fact, even in COVID, the data is very helpful in terms of how things are probably the vaccines are responding to particular region or particular race or particular community. How it's so data, of course, is there's no denial that it is so important, right? How to now practically convert this into our jobs or what should we do is, I would say, there are a lot of data courses right now around the market and also tools that you will be using in your profession, in your jobs, or even in your practice, I would believe. I would want to name few of them. For example, Tableau. If you probably go, Tableau is there. There are Domo. There are Power BIs. There are a lot of new tools that are used for, a CFO or a CEO should be able to see every day how much collections are there in all around the world, right? Or all around the, any click should give anything. So those kind of dashboard building, Power BI, even Microsoft itself has their own ones. So these are the things which you need to start inculcating, just start building from now on. And it's very interesting. You will really see how you can build upon this, you can make very good presentation. And that's where I think Ashish also talked about how it is important to also become versatile. And actually we can do it, right? We have got the critical thinking approach. I think we all work hard in our studies. We really studied hard, so we can do all of this. And I personally believe that we should also work on presentation skills as well, which probably I personally missed doing while chartered accountancy. So that should also be there. So yeah, these are my kind of piece of advices that should help. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. As you said, there is no denial that data is important, and which we have seen in the recent COVID period as well. And you also mentioned about how do we convert this data. And you mentioned about Tableau Domo, and I think for our benefit of the same chartered accountants, it will be helpful if you could share it in the chat as well, these so that they can refer to. And as you, in addition to these problem solving, critical thinking, I think you said you miss a presentation skill, and which is also very important for us. And data, I think, helps one to understand and improve business processes so that you can reduce, the wasted money and time, because it depletes resources, squanders time, and ultimately impacts the bottom line. And data allows organizations to more effectively determine the cause of problems. And as I said, please share in the chat, Krishna, for the benefit of the chartered accountants, the Tableau Dome and the other one you mentioned. Okay, Vinod, HK has been traditionally one of the aspirational cities for Indian CAs to come and work at. First, because of it being traditionally headquarters for many MNCs, and also it being gateway to China. How the recent events of past 2-3 years have affected those opportunities for young CAs, if they have, and what are the future opportunities coming up for them to look for?
That's a great question, Kala. I'm glad you asked this question. For those of you out there who have been reading the international news, it has not been very good for Hong Kong last 2-3 years. It has been a difficult time. Even before the pandemic, for about 6 to 9 months, there were civil disturbances. Hong Kong is a small city state, so it really devastated the economy. And then the pandemic had its toll. So things have been really going from bad to worse as far as Hong Kong is concerned. And like most economies around the world, we did suffer in terms of tourism, which is such a large industry, has really been impacted. Retail is impacted, etc. And then the trade war between China and the United States impacted Hong Kong, which is essentially the gateway to China. And some of the political developments around the world, like Canada and UK giving free gateways to residents of Hong Kong to be residents in those countries, has actually seen a brain drain happening. But there essentially is an opportunity, because the economy of Hong Kong will bounce back. There is no two way about it. As they say, Asia is the future, and China stands as a big giant, and there is nothing that could deny China the economic prosperity that would eventually come. The advantage that Hong Kong has, apart from proximity to China, is that it has got a very strong English-speaking background. It has the rule of law, the Commonwealth rules. The laws in Hong Kong are similar to what we have learned in India. And therefore, as the economy picks back and we find the brain drain happening of residents of Hong Kong moving outside to the Western world, that means they are going from the future to the past. This would open up doors of opportunities for our guys to come and work for multinationals, to set up set up practices in Hong Kong. And the other thing that I would like to say is that I have experience with the immigration formalities in many countries, and Hong Kong is by far the best. I mean, they are absolutely unbiased as long as you are able to establish that you have the talent and you will be contributing positively to the economy of Hong Kong. Generally, getting a visa is not difficult. So I feel that there is a huge, I know that it is a bit somber, but still, opportunity is opportunity, isn't it?
Right. And there is also another thing, like they say when it says Hong Kong, it's the cost of living is high. I mean, next to Tokyo, or so. What would you say about that? For people who wants to move to Hong Kong.
Well, yes. I mean, Hong Kong definitely. You have to really pay through your nose for everything. I mean, especially housing and education for children are extremely high. But there is also opportunity, right? I mean, people are still living over here. So you have the opportunity to earn a decent living. So I don't think for a professional that should be a constraint.
Right. I think that's well said.
Just to put in some numbers, let's say somebody, a new chartered accountant comes to Hong Kong and takes up a job which will give 50 to 60,000 Hong Kong dollars. 20,000 on rent and 20,000 on living expenses. Still 1/3 can be saved, as long as he's not flamboyant and doesn't have passions for expensive watches and cars.
Yeah. As I said, yes, when you have a good, decent remuneration, then you can manage the cost of living as well, because it's also a most desirable destination. And when you talk of tourism, I think it's not only Hong Kong. There are Singapore, Switzerland, there are many countries, which has been affected by tourism, and we hope for the best. And as you say, Asia is the future, right? So for all the young chartered accountants who are listening to this, Hong Kong, there are opportunities. The door is open. Please use this. And for all those people, because we also keep getting questions on the salary or the accommodation and what should be. So there are chapters at these jurisdictions. You can approach the chapter for any questions or any clarifications on this. Thanks, Vinod. And moving on to next, Devaki Nandanji. Apart from being an experienced finance leader, you are a lyricist and composer and has many songs to your credit. How much do you think it is important to follow your passion outside the work, and how they help one to grow both as a person and as a professional?
So, what I would say is, when we talk about passion here, we are not talking about work as passion. Many people say work is my passion, work is my passion. So we are not talking about that, because I believe all the panelists, all the senior people here, they are passionate about their work, and that's why they are at the leadership roles in their respective organizations. So what I'm talking here is more than the work, like it's something other than the work. And it can be anything. It can be painting, singing, playing guitar, any instrument, writing, gardening, it can be anything. So, and sometimes what happens in your childhood days or school days, you wanted to do something, but you could not because of hesitancy or family pressures, or even CA examinations. They are so tough. So you generally try to forego your passion and hobbies and all those things, and you start focusing on examinations and other things. Now, good thing is, there are a lot of resources to learn now. Lot of resources, and it's free of charge. You can learn, you can start learning. Everybody is saying, you have to learn, relearn, skill, upskill. Good thing is, lot of resources, free resources available for learning. Now for me, following my passion works like it's a brain medication and meditation. So it energizes me, it rejuvenates me, and it helps me to be more focused. That generally speaking, when we work, there are a lot of huge pressure, pressures, work pressure, deadlines, and all those things. So spending time on passion helps me to, make my time management very good. And it improves my, it allows me to refocus, refocus, so it helps me actually, how should I say, it helps me to improve my work actually. So another thing I would say, everybody is saying keep learning, and be a student, be a curious, be a student throughout your life.
And when did you start this, your composer thing? Is it after chartered accountant, or when was it?
No, it's college days. It's a very funny story since you have asked here and we have time permitting a bit. So I used to write in my college days, I used to write poems, etc. And what used to happen is like, I was very good at maths. I did BSc and then I did chartered accountancy. I was very, very good at maths. And then my hostel partners used to come for, asking some question, how to solve this, how to solve that. So I used to be in hostel, and what I used to do is, okay, you want to ask this question, okay, fine, I'm telling you, but I used to close my door and say, first listen my this poem, then only I will tell you that. So yeah, I've been writing since my college days. And then people started appreciating, then I thought, okay, I'm writing something good stuff, so that's why people are appreciating. So then I developed it, and I learned a lot from internet and free stuff. There's a lot of things to learn.
Right. And I completely agree with what you said about the passion. Your passion gives you a reason to keep learning and to work towards mastery. And, it's not only about focusing academically. It can be anything. It's, as you said, it could be singing, it could be painting, it could be dancing, anything. And it is a brain medication and meditation. From time management works perfect. And it also, as I said, you try to balance your emotions, your feelings, and even I feel your performance will increase. That's also my personal experience. Thanks for that, Nandanji. And next to Prabhatji, you have been an authority on forensic accounting of long now. How do you think machine learning and robotics are changing the dynamics of this field?
Kalaji, thanks for second question. One thing which I am constantly feeling now, that earlier when I started my practice 20 years back, there was hardly any forensic accountant in the market. Now, the numbers have grown like the mushrooming. Every accountant say that they know forensic accounting. Of course, whether it meets the standard required by the court or not, that is different issue. But competition is now stiff. Now, unless we reduce the cost, those days it's very easy for me because there was hardly any competitors. So we used to say X amount and X amount used to be paid. Now every time we investigative work, 3-4 firms or 5 firms are there, and you have to be very careful unless you depend on technology, because our work is more analytical. We do analysis of when we start investigation. At first place we have to observe the entire database, entire flow of information, and then to decide where to focus in order to get the right area. So all these initial things we need to do through machines, and I'm thankful that now technology has advanced, and it has helped us to reduce the cost to a certain extent. Traditional approach used to be expensive, where manipulations. Now earlier, another new development I'm observing since last 2-3 years, number of small clients are approaching. Now whether you investigate for 2 million fraud or you investigate 200 million fraud, cost time factor, if you look into the traditional method, will almost be the same, because you have to analyze all those vouchers, bank statement, this and that, and ultimately it's not whether you're looking for elephant or looking for rat, time is going to be the same. So now it's true. So we used to refuse those clients, but recently I realized that no, we are not doing justice as a social responsibility. We need to, because 2 million frauds are more frequent now than 200 million fraud. So why to leave them alone and say, okay, never mind, and these fraudsters, they feel, oh, nobody can catch us, so we are hero. And that element is very prevalent, I tell you, because everybody is a bit scared the moment it comes to forensic accounting. Oh my God, it's going to cost us hell of money. So we have developed a platform and use certain technological tools. Of course, I can't discuss in detail here because it is a very lengthy process, where we analyze the data a bit fast and not lot of things, because data dumps are normally come to us in different formats. Normally we get the data dump in Excel, but these Excel have its own formats are all different. Some coming from SAP, some coming from Tally, and so on and so forth. So these data has to be systematic so that processing can be faster by the tools which we are using. And especially, of course, certain tools are very important. For example, we are using IDEA Advanced Analytics. Then we are using some WizSoft and WizY. So this gives us some logical answers of certain things. Of course, the last leg of the investigations we do manually. So unless we do use technology, we cannot be economical, and a time will come when we will be out of the market. We have, as I mentioned to you, understanding the behavior of data and modus operandi is very important. This allows us to zoom the area where anomalies are recognized faster than ever before. It is an evolving process, and we are still learning, I must tell you. Every day we learn. And very correctly, you all have said, all the panelists have said, we have to learning and de-learning. De-learning is not that much, but new things has to be learned, because techniques are changing. Recently, we started using, I told you, RPA, robotic process, which is what not earlier, we never, just recently it applied in 1 or 2 investigations, and in certain specific type of, for example, these big buildings where management is run by committees. I'm talking about apartments. Fraud is rampant. Almost 20% of these committee members have experienced fraud of dimension of 2 million to 3 million. And now so we have developed a specific tool only for this particular type of industry, this particular type of problem. Similarly, we are developing industry a tool for a particular type of process industry, and so on and so forth. And this process is keep on going unless we at least have 10-20 different types of course it's a bit expensive, but we are now becoming specialists in certain areas. So frequency and volume is increasing, and that is justifying the cost which we are incurring on constantly learning and upscaling, and at the same time improving our analytical ability. So I feel this is very, very important, and that what I will suggest all those young chartered accountants, which Vinodji has also said, Ashishji has also experienced, that beginning chartered accountant to be chartered accountant is a great thing. Yes, we should be proud about it. We are very intelligent. I can reinforce this, because I have never seen Indian chartered accountants more intelligent chartered accountants than Indians. All my right hand and left hand forensic accountants working with me are all from India, I must tell you. Not a single is from Malaysia. Because the way they look at numbers, the way they analyze, the way they understand my explanations is very, very fast. And of course, learning and de-learning also is very fast amongst Indians, relatively. I can't say all, but relatively it is faster, easier. So we prefer, and of course, hardworking. Right now, you said we all are passionate to our work, and that is a trait amongst the accountants. Yes. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and Prabhaji, you were mentioning that, you need to develop the tool for every industries or the process different, right? So which means that say that is also the cost is increasing and you need to specialize it. And you gave an example as well. And you mean to say, and now with the upgradation of technology, so is it fully you do with the technology, or you were mentioning also the last leg you're still doing manual, is it?
If you look into this investigative pyramid, there are 4 stages, Understanding, analyzing the data. That is the time when you use maximum tools.
Okay.
Then correlating the facts. That is the second stage, and ultimately drawing the conclusion. So these 2 stages, because you have to correlate the crime and the criminals through various evidence. Machine cannot do that. And I had one, I was invited by ICAI, I can't mention who was the gentleman. I was one of the speakers in fraud, in forensic accounting. I'm talking about 6 years back. So he said, Prabhatji, he said in the discussion in panel, open forum, face to face, not virtual, that data analytics is more important and is going to kill the entire business of forensic accounting. We don't need forensic accountants after 6-7 years. Look what is happening. Data analytics is at its own place. It has its own importance. But the real skill is the last two stage, which machine cannot do. We have to do ourselves. And unless you are really smart by experience or by work doing the same thing again and again, you won't be able to correlate these things in a convincing manner, because court is the toughest area where you are tested for your findings. Auditors can never imagine that how tough it is to face cross-examination by 6-4 very intelligent, 4 or 5, sometimes more lawyers who are very smart and very articulate. So you have to first convince yourself that my findings cannot be second, and even they try their best, still it is convincing, and ultimately it will convince the judge. Forget about anybody else. I'm not bothered. I always think that I'm working for the judge, not for anybody, whether they understand or not. But judge must understand that what I have said, why I have said, where it has happened, why this particular person, not X, not Y, not Z. Only P is the person who should be held responsible. And that happens. And I'm very thankful that our analytics and our exercise has helped us to prove that in all the cases, yes.
Right. Yeah. Thanks. And I think we are also proud of the fact that ICAI India is now pioneered to develop the standards for forensic accounting practice, and you also been one of the contributors. And from what you said now, I think there are a lot of opportunities for these young chartered accountants in the field of forensics, and I hope that everyone utilize that opportunity.
It's an emerging field, It's an emerging field. Still, a lot of opportunities are there, yes.
Right. That's good to hear. Thanks, Prabhaji. And now over to Venkat. What is your viewpoint on promoting new younger talents, whether it is in your organization or outside bodies, and how do you want to encourage them? And you think even the previous panelists have spoken about that, is CA qualification alone is enough if somebody wants to come to Singapore and take an opportunity?
Yeah, good, Kala. Okay. The first and foremost thing, CA qualification is very valuable. The world is changing. Good old your parents' day, SSLC or a 10th standard is big. Today, if you're not a rank holder, if you're not number one in any field you choose, you're not preferred by anybody, because there's a screening process. So people look at it, are you first attempt pass or a rank holder? So do it in that form and manner. 2, don't do any job or any qualification for getting a job. Then it's a doom. Yes. You start loving it. For me, finance means it's like eating halwa, sweets, right? Unless you feel that kind of passion for that subject and that love, I'm telling you, anything, everything you do, if you only look for money and where I can go, finish. I go to campus, right? I always recruit in Indian CA, and we were the number 1. Economic Times has reported that paying masters in CA Institute. When I go to the campus interview, there will be 350 people attending to listen to me. I'll tell them that you can't choose your boss, you can't choose your location is in Nigeria in Akure. Out of 350 people, 150 or 200 people will walk away because they don't want to take risk. take risk. Very important. Don't count money in the beginning. I started my career with 2,000 rupees salary. Go after experience, not money. Please chase for that. This is the second experience. Third, when we look at people, we look at it how they are. Now, especially we are looking at social media and other places to see, are they really within the cubicle of, study and go back, mommy, please give me food and sleep or watch TV. How much you are active in your ICAI, the student associations and CA forums or a grassroots or volunteer, whatever it is, it's important. Because you have to be an all-rounder. Like I said sometime back, the academic qualification, like in Singapore, I was part of the study. Singapore Accounting Commission and NTUC has done a study. We have 100,000 accountants in Singapore. In 5 years, all of them will lose their job, the current job. Unless they reskill themselves in terms of how they want to upskill the skills. That's the reality. So you can't just say that I'm a qualified chartered accountant, things will come to me. No, it cannot, number one. Two, it is no more academic. It is a soft skills. Like, sometime back Ashish was talking about your presentation skills, your communication skills, your art of influencing, eye-to-eye contact, heart-to-heart contact. All that matters. And that can only come, you volunteer. I always, when I go and speak in forum, I say, you can be stupid to raise your hand and ask a question. The question can be stupid. But you think you're intelligent and sit quiet, you lost out completely. Because at least I noticed you, that you stood up and asked questions. So be courageous to take risk is the first part. Second thing I will tell you, which is I truly believe, and that transformed my life about 15, 18 years back, which is called, you can go back and, look at the TED Talk. Simon Sinek has come out with a small, brief talk. About 40 million people have seen it. It's called Golden Circle. Don't say what you are. If I go back and say, that's why I don't use my title, I use ICAI. If I go back and say I'm president of a global company, blah, 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 it is a title. It is what you are. That will disappear. What matters is why. The purpose for which you stand. What is your purpose? You ask that question today. You be passionate about what you have studied. Passionate about your function, finance function. Then the why, if it is very, very clear in everything and anything you do, the how will come out to achieve the what. And what is a moving goalpost? When you started your life, you may think that 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs is good enough. Then it can change. If it is the money, title, everything will change. What matters is the most valuable asset in the world is you. You can, the 2,000 rupees salary whom I earn today, whatever I am earning today is because you equip yourself. If the moment you become better, the world will change. That's what matters. Yes. Lastly, yes. It's a circle of life. Don't focus only on your profession or office job. You have to contribute to nation. So you have to be part of your political system, grassroots, whatever you do. You have to be part of your profession. Go and give it back to CA Institute. I was the past chairman of Indian, Singapore chapter. But during my studentship, I was in SICASA, a lot more things. The key thing is, you give it back, you will get much more than what you expect. Similarly, you have to contribute for charity and, divinity and spirituality or family, whatever you talk about. It's a circle you have to come out and it is not one-side focused. Don't count money. Go after experiences. Every experience. There are no failures in the world. It's only experiences. Don't believe that you need to succeed now. It is okay to fall now. It's falling at a later stage is much more painful. So fall as much possible. Be agile. Fail fast. Take risk. Fail fast. Learn it. Unlearn. Move on. That's life. That will be very enjoyable. I'm telling you. Every day. Don't compete with anybody. Because there's a circle you're looking around. It's like a frog in the well. You want to compete with the Facebook founder, man. At 39, 35, he's the CEO. Count him. $40 billion. Count him as a competition. Don't come back. Somebody say that, he got $10,000 more bonus or whatever crap. No. You be the competition for yourself. Are you better than yesterday? Every day measure yourself. And if that is the journey you follow, you don't need to account for anybody else. You account for yourself. You reflect. You learn. The life will be very beautiful. All the very best, dear friends.
I would just like to just like to add here. What he said is 100% correct. I worked for 15 years for multinational. Then I realized that I must develop myself because like me, there are a number of chartered accountants and CFO. What additional I am. And I left my job, left my family here and went to Canada, did my master's forensic accounting and took the risk of starting my practice in a place where Hardly anybody knew me. And I'm very happy that I took a right decisions. So that has to be like, I'm very thankful to Vinodji, who has taken such a big risk, and in a place like Hong Kong, honestly speaking, I would have never gone.
Yeah. Right. That's why he said, be agile, be courageous to risk. And what you values you, that is you. The young chartered accountants, please make note of the Simon Sinek golden circle. So do not say what you are, what matters is why. And Venkat, tell me, you were telling that you are also part of the campus interview, right? When you select the chartered accountants. So you would have, what is that, the three, if I may ask you, what is the three skills or the qualities you look into to recruit a chartered accountant? When you went, you have experience, you went for the campus interview.
Brilliant. First and foremost, like I said, the people are taking courageous and want to contribute. So I'll notice, first is open forum. People are, they will get noticed. The first initial screening, even before I go, is the first attempt passing, qualification matters. But what I really look for is the fire in the belly. Do they want to learn? Are they exhibiting that kind of question? Childlike curiosity. Even whatever it is, why not? That's very important. I ask them why you want to join this company. Have they done some groundwork? Don't come to going for the dating. Even dating, you need to do some research before going and meeting the girl, right? Have you done enough research? Do you know what it is? The moment if somebody's taken some effort and coming there and what you want to contribute, and we don't look at anything else. Even experienced people, when you look at it, at least in my experience, what I have seen is what you written in the resume should sound not bombastic, but actually practically. Somebody will come and say, I did all the automation and, I did streamlining, process automation. Go back and ask, what did you do? And we did. Don't use the word we. What did I did? You did in this case. I like the we team pay. Because you can't just put a jalra with 1,000 people to say that, the company is implemented, I've done it. What you contributed. You can't say that I've done some 10 Excel files and consolidated and that become automation. The point is truthful to your profession, what you've done, and childlike curiosity for me to learn. Third is I don't want one-man upmanship. I want a team player. We can easily figure out, is he a team player or is he just there to prove a point, right? And then natural leadership will come out because we have some 3-4 processes. Open GD. The GD will look at it, how the people are expressing, how they're bringing the team together, how they're synthesizing, and then I have a rapid fire session. So I tell them, night 2 o'clock when I wake you up and say, what's your father's name? You won't say Baba Baba, right? Same thing should be for finance. When I ask you what are the accounting questions or whatever I ask you, if you have studied, at 3 in the morning when I wake you up, you should say. That's rapid fire. If you take 2 more minutes for that, that means you are not internalized your subject. You studied, mugged up for getting some money. That's not what we need. You have to be being in the stage, not doing in the stage. And that is how we select. And whomsoever we selected, exceptionally they're doing very well. I'm very, very, very happy that all the campus interviews have done it. Like I said, the people are taking risk. They went to Nigeria, they went to various locations, now they're in Singapore. The first itself, Mummy said, I want to be in Singapore, and that we don't want. Mummy, Daddy speaking, we don't want. You have to take the risk is what very, very important for me, as a quality.
Right. And to all the young chartered accountants, please listen to what like Prabhaji, Venkat said, because next time you meet him in the campus interview, so I think he would have shared it also what he looks for. So thanks, Venkat. That was very interesting. And moving on to Ashish, you have traveled, stayed, and worked in few countries now. How much being mobile is important for a person's career growth, and how to keep adjusting to change in countries and cultures?
Oh, thank you, Ms. Kala. So I'll say, being mobile is the most important, especially when you initially qualify and you are very young. I'll assume like everyone who has qualified, like most of them will be in the age group of 20 to 24. And with this age, you have around 6 to 7 years in hand where you want to explore things, where you want to see how new things work, where you want to go out, where you have the, fire to prove yourself, and you just want to see result. You implement that and you get the results. I will not do it as a recommendation, but I'll tell what is my experience. So I was actually one of the recruited from ICAI campus back in 2010. And my first posting was in Kuwait. So being a 23-year-old guy, and I was like working in Delhi, in Connaught Place, very beautiful office and everything. And after a month, you are in Kuwait, working in a manufacturing company in the middle of the desert. So you get that feeling, okay, what has happened with me? So it takes some time to adjust. It took me like let's say, weeks to adjust to what I am. But then I thought, okay, what I'm here for? I'm here to apply my knowledge. I'm here to contribute to an organization who has hired me like from miles away. And I have to prove one thing, like I am the guy who can do this job. And this is the company to whom I can put or contribute something positively. So being mobile is like that. And I was keep getting opportunity. After being in Kuwait, I got opportunity to be in UAE. I was like very, very open to take that. I took that. So it was into completely different role, though with the same group, but it was into an M&A. So from a corporate finance, I moved to M&A, and I was like few weeks after I was talking to investment bankers on how to crack a deal, how to sell or buy a business. So completely different. So I never knew about this, but then I took a risk. I mean, my seniors shows the confidence, and I said, okay, let me try. And let me try to learn something and prove my point. So I was completely mobile while I moved to UAE. Then I got call one day from our CFO. He said, okay, we have opening in Vietnam. And I was like, okay, this is something completely new. So I took my time, and then I said, okay, let me take that. This is a much more broader role. From a corporate finance M&A guy, I was moving to a full-fledged finance role. So I had to look after accounting, finance, treasury, credit, everything. I mean, whatever. And on top of it, I have to see the IT also. So I said, okay, I have two things here. One is I'll be learning a lot as a management position, because I'll be looking after all these departments. Second thing is I'll get to meet new people. So it's very easy to say, like, I get to meet new people, but when you actually land in the country, it's a completely different ballgame. So you have to understand, but you have to be very open-minded. So, I mean, I come from a country where one thing is considered taboo, and the same thing in Vietnam is considered sacred. So that shift happens. So like if you go to, let's say, Kuwait or UAE, I mean, having a poke or finding a poke there is a crime. But when you come to Vietnam, it is offered to God it is offered to God in the temple. So it's a completely different culture. But what I say, you have to learn these things. So you cannot say, okay, they are not doing right, or these people are not doing right. Everybody is following their own customs and culture. So be open, and you learn a lot of things. I mean, I personally feel the more people you meet, every time you learn a new thing. I mean, they come from a very different background, different culture. Education background can be same. You can meet a CA or CPA, but the way they have grown up, they have learned something completely different. So be very, very open. I mean, always, whenever you meet a new person, you will always learn something. Either you learn a good thing, or you will learn a thing which you should not do. So, but it's a positive learning for you. So you should go from that perspective. When we talk about career growth, for career growth, I'll say when you are young and when you are at the, let's say, analyst or a mid-manager, it's very important that you perform. And you perform as a contributor and try to contribute positively to anything you do. So, I mean, there can be things like, okay, today you are in finance, but I want you to do something for HR. It's a data analytics for HR. So don't say like, what's in it for me? So just say, okay, let me try to develop something. If I can do something good for the organization, let me try to develop a model in which HR recruitment will become much more data centric, rather than just going with something like just some ATS resume or picking some keywords that may not be relevant. Put some data and make a combined or a blended approach which can be used. So be open-minded like that. So career growth will definitely come. What I have seen in my life, whenever you're performing and you have good seniors, it's very important to have a good boss who can work as a mentor and who can push you also. So that is a choice which you have to make. Okay, I mean, I have had a fair bit of like different kind of bosses, and I know who is a good boss, who is not so good boss, and who teach you a lot. So that is the thing, and just keep open. I mean, I'll say, even if people are there to push you, of course, you'll go ahead in your career. Even if people are not there, you have the choice always, right? Make a good choice, and you are the best judge who can say, okay, this is best for me. There is nobody in the world who will come to you and say, okay, no, this is best for you. You should do that. Even if you accept that, internally, you know what is right, what is not. So you have to be mobile. Career growth will definitely come. And as I said, adjusting to a new country is never a problem. It's just be people centric, right? And I say culture may be different, but the habits are same. So in any country, if you smile to somebody and they will smile, Okay, if you be kind to them, they be kind to them. So these are the basic traits which will be there. So just try to follow those and try to learn what their customs are, what their cultures are. I personally find if you go to a local wedding, you will always understand what their culture is because it has blend of everything. So whenever I get a chance to go to any wedding which is in a different country, I never miss it. I'll always go and try to learn. So culture is never a problem. If you want to adjust, you'll adjust. And being from India, we are very adaptable. As the panelist has already mentioned, we have different kind of cultures already in India. So we are actually grown up in such an environment, then we can adapt to it. And as a human being also, we are adaptive culture. We have seen like millions of years of adaptation. That is what we are still doing today. So this is a Scala from my side. I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks. I think smile is a universal language, Ashish. And myself, I've lived in Vietnam, and I could vouch for what you say. It's living in different countries. Be open-minded, understand the culture, adapt and appreciate it. Every time you cannot speak of the culture of your own country, custom. So we should be proud of our culture and also appreciate the culture and the custom of the country you live in. I think that is important. Learn, observe, use all your observation skills, open-minded, and I think that will make one to adjust anywhere in the world. And this I want to ask you said you were in corporate finance, M&A, because there's a lot of young chartered accountants watching this program. And it was a shift for you completely. Then Vietnam, it's a new role. How you prepared yourself? Because you said, okay, you were, the mindset is important. But as a young chartered accountants watching this program, what would you tell them, like how to prepare themselves when there is a complete shift from one industry to another industry?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kala. I'll say, it's again you're thinking how you want to go for it. So, I generally take it as a challenge and I also take it as a learning opportunity. And you have to be very open-minded. So when I came to Vietnam, I did not know anything about credit management. So I was like completely zero, never managed any department, never worked in credit. But then I have to manage a team of like 4 people who are into credit. So I thought how to do it. Then I used to have session with the people who were reporting to me. And we used to do a very collaborative work. And I told them, I don't know anything about it. You have to teach this to me. So they taught me over the time. And after like, say, 2-3 months, I was well versed. I was able to understand what is happening in trade finance perspective, what is happening in supply chain. So I was able to grasp it. So I was very open-minded and I was ready to learn from others. And even that can be people who are reporting to you, and those can be people like from a different department or altogether from a different company. Sorry, you can go to a forum, you can learn from them. So I used to go to a lot of seminars on trade finance and all. I used to go to bankers whenever they used to invite me. So I was like, okay, understand the banking, how they're working. Because when I understand banking, I will understand treasury. Okay, so if you want to make a way, you'll definitely make a way. So that's what I want to say. If you are ready to do or learn, you will definitely learn. But if you say, okay, I have only 5 hours today, and for 5 hours, 4 hours I have to spend on this, 1 hour on this, and then I'll go and sleep. So you have to compromise some sleep. Okay, even if you compromise 20 minutes of sleep and learn 20 minutes something new, you'll definitely succeed in your life. So it's never a challenge. Whenever this corporate finance role came, M&A role came, or a CFO role came, I was always like, okay, I'll handle it. Maximum what they will ask, work for 24 hours. Okay, one day I'll work for 24 hours. Next day I'll sleep some more after delivering my work. So it doesn't matter. It's the only thing I can deliver. Though I don't encourage working for 24 hours. I actually value work-life balance a lot. But I'm saying, okay, I was prepared that I can do this if required.
Right. Thanks. I think even if you miss 20 minutes of sleep, see that you're learning everything new today. The learning continues. And I also want to tell all the young chartered accountants, ICAI has a lot of, and especially after the COVID, a lot of online courses at an affordable prices. So please make use of that. And as I say, learning never stops. You have to unlearn, relearn, upskill, reskill. So make use of all these courses, which will also make you, to venture into the new fields, take up new jobs, take up opportunities. And now, before we move to the question, we have the, change in the format. I'm going to ask some rapid fire questions. Krishna, are you ready?
Sure,
Krishna? Yeah. As that you should not take much time of all the panelists for this round. What's your favorite book and why?
Okay, so the answer to that is The Alchemist, because the answer lies below your pillow.
Okay, and the favorite tech tool you use?
Well, I used a couple of them. So like I mentioned at work, the Tableau and Domo, very nice ones, but I'm a fan of Apple. So every single product that comes, I would be first ones to buy here, and to always upgrade my systems, whether they are OS or any kind of platform. So mix of them.
Your favorite Indian actor?
Okay, that's a tough one. In terms of acting, I think it would be typical Shah Rukh Khan. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then your favorite work ritual for you?
Well, there is if you guys know, so in Japan is also famous about cleanliness, right? So on Monday, every Monday, we have actually a ritual, and there's a meeting called Asakai in Japanese. So entire Rakuten, employees will gather all around the world with CEO. Now, of course, over Zoom, and we will clean our desk. So we do that every Monday. All around our desk, and so that we are clean, and mind is clean, and that goes for your files on your desktop too, by the way. That was very interesting for me. You need to always clean your desktop as well. So that's my favorite ritual of work. Yeah.
So you said Asakai, right?
Asakai, yes.
Asakai, okay. And your person you admire the most?
I think two answers to that. Of course, my mom for sure, and second is Barack Obama. I love him. And not recently, but I love Elon Musk, by the way. Just to confess, the way he's doing, capturing all around the things, and that's I think, that's what it is.
Okay, excellent. Like you said about your mom also, thanks. And next is Venkat, to you. Venkat?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes. Who is your favorite singer, Indian singer?
Lata Mangeshkar.
Okay. And favorite work ritual for you?
So my ritual is morning and evening. So morning I just start with a reflection time. So that time actually no appointments are blocked. So I block my calendar between 9:30 to 10:30. So that is the time I reflect on what I'm planning to do, where I'm moving. End of the day, I take 10 minutes of my time to look at in terms of how the day is gone by, which I just shared some time back. And then I don't feel critical about myself, but I look at what learnings I've derived from both my mistakes and good. That's how I just lead it.
Wonderful. And your favorite book?
Yeah, the Krishna just, said the same thing. See, Alchemist is one, though I read many books. Alchemist I've read some 5 times, and I spoke about in a book club about Alchemist. Because the reason is 2 things. One, what is important in life is, if I tell you that wherever I'm reached today is because I planned for it, it's a hypocritic statement. It's not true. What matters is that day, that moment, do your best. And that's what the boy does, right? In that whole story, if you look at it, whatever opportunity thrown to him, he makes it good and then does his best. And that's how he achieved whatever he wanted to achieve. So every time I get a different meaning when I'm reading The Alchemist.
And one thing which is part of your bucket list?
I will go back to Harvard and study there,
Wow.
if I can take out, because I love to study. I did a 7-day course in ISB. I thoroughly enjoyed executive development, because being a student is the best way, you can forget everything else. It's a fascinating lifetime.
Do you like to enjoy the rain? Do dance in the rain?
Very much. I love it because rain and nature, we know that there is one thing which I do, that very well, which is called no agenda, walk and talk. So every day morning, I go with nature, because that nature is what will create your right brain, left brain. It will activate your right brain. So go with the nature and go with somebody without any agenda, so that you get to know them very well. And I've covered more than 150 people during the COVID time. And that can become my book now. That kind of insight I got out of the discussion, because that's beautiful.
Yeah. To all our members, please note this, go with the nature, date with the nature, be happy. That's also very important. Thanks, Venkat. Thanks for that. Next to Prabhatji.
Yes.
You're ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, a person you admire the most.
Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad, who is no more, but anyway, he's my ideal. And then, again, not because of political reason, Mr. Modi. For his work discipline. That's all.
Okay.
He's highly disciplined, yes.
Okay, so what's your famous travel destination?
Canada. Northern part of Canada.
Any reason for that?
Oh, it's beautiful. What he said, date with nature. If you want to really enjoy the nature, that is the best part on this earth. Heaven, I think paradise on this earth, yes.
Right.
Extremely beautiful flora and fauna, yes, yeah.
Right. And I think you're the person who believes in, a strong believer of ethics, values, right? So you think meditation is important to do every day?
It's a must. Means type of job we do every night before I go to bed and every morning about 5:30. At least 20 minutes I spend on meditation, and that helps me a lot to keep myself cool and aloof from the rest of the world. Although I am physically in the world, but whenever I want to cut off myself from a particular situation, I can cut off easily. And that is the help I have. That is the art I have learned from meditation. You must see the problem, but you cannot go inside the problem to be part of the problem. If you view the problem from the distance, you will get the solution. If you go inside the problem, like mirror, you have to see yourself from a distance. You cannot be too close to the mirror. Exactly true with the problem. Beautiful.
And said that to all the chartered accountants who are watching here, please make note of what the panelist says. One is work, and also you need to have work-life balance. At the same time, it is important to keep our mind calm, composed. We have to be happy. And Prabhaji, what's one favorite book, if I could ask you, other than Alchemist?
No, Wings of Fire. Wings of Fire. For young chartered accountants, they must read it if they have not read.
Please note of it. Please repeat again, Prabhaji, so that the chartered accountants can make note of that book.
Wings of Fire by Abdul Kalam.
Wow, that's right. And your favorite song? What is your favorite song in Hindi?
All those between 80s to 90s, all those songs are, most of them, especially by Lata ji, especially by Kishore Kumar, Muhammad Rafi. I'm already 60, so you can understand my. I don't like modern music, but some of the new songs are also very good. Yes, but not pop-up. Yes.
Thank you. Next, Ashish. Ashish?
Yes, Ms. Kala, I'm with you.
Ready?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite, you're a tech person, what's your favorite tech tool you use?
I use multiple tools, but I have two favorites actually, not one. One is Tableau, as Krishna was also mentioning. It's a very good tool for visualization. So you can play around with data and show it in the best way possible. That's one. I use one more, it's Python, and there are multiple modules of Python called NumPy and Panda. I use that for data manipulation. So when you have to do a lot of calculations and all with a very big set of data. So that's what the tool I go for. For small manipulation, you can obviously use Excel, but for bigger data, you need something like really, really important to solve it in your hand. So I try to use Python for that.
Okay. And your favorite work ritual for you?
It's a very standard one. So it's a to-do list, which is always there on my table or in my phone. So it's all so I know what I have to do. So whenever somebody say, okay, do this, I don't want to forget it. So I note it down. It can be on a paper or it can be on a phone. And generally it's on phone if I'm in the meeting and all, and I come back and write down in my diary again. So I try to go manual with this. For all other things, I try to go with computer.
Right. And who's your favorite Hindi actress or any Indian actress?
Very difficult to choose one, but there are multiple. I admire Deepika Padukone. She's doing good set of movies which are meaningful also. So she's one of the good ones.
Right. And
Ashish worried about his wife.
Okay. And one thing which is part of your bucket list.
See, I was about to do it last year, and then this pandemic started. So I booked my my vacation to New Zealand. I wanted to do this skydiving, and but I couldn't do it. So I still want to do it. It's in my bucket list. So I'll see whenever this pandemic gets over. I'll book my holiday again, go to the country and try to do it.
Sure. You must do that. That's an adventure sport. I think all adventure sport one must try. I would tell all the other chartered accountants as well. You need to be adventurous as well to try all these things. We said no, courage, take risk. And then this is all the you need to experience all these adventure sports.
I've done all. Actually, this is the only one pending.
Only one pending. Oh, that's nice. You do that. I've done that. It's an excellent experience. Okay, thanks, Ashish.
Thank you,
moving to Vinod. Vinod, are you there?
Very much.
Okay. Okay, then let me start. What's your favorite movie? Indian movie?
It keeps shifting over time. Now that you have asked me, Anand is my favorite movie.
Sorry, I could not hear. Sorry.
Anand.
Okay, so that's a whole movie.
Yeah. Unlike Prabhatji, I am also a fan of the old.
Oh, not anything in the new.
No, I can't think. Nothing crops up immediately when you think of the new movies.
Right. And what's your favorite book?
Well, I've got a couple of them at least. In the non-fiction category, I like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Then Prisoners of Geography because I love geopolitics by Tim Marshall. And in the old days, I used to, don't judge me, I used to read Sidney Sheldon quite a lot.
Okay. That's okay. That's fine. And what is your the favorable travel destination?
India. I have not been to so many places like Rajasthan and Northeast. Being a Malayali, I'm ashamed to say I've not even gone to Munnar. So I would love to, backpack all over India.
Correct. Well said. I think we have everything from Kashmir to Kanyakumari.
Absolutely.
Right, north to south. You want to see the snow-capped mountains, or you need to see the rivers, or you need to see the pristine.
And the forest, being part of nature is
right.
So easy in India.
Well said. I think that's an excellent answer. And one thing which is part of your bucket list.
Honing up my Mandarin skill. I can manage, but I want to learn to speak fluently and possibly read and write Chinese.
So that could help you in your profession also, right? Because you have your own accounting and secretarial practice in Hong Kong as well.
But more than that, like somebody said, like I think Ashish said, learning about the culture. I think learning the local language is an integral part of learning the culture. So,
yes.
It allows you to watch movies. It allows you to converse with local people. Though in Hong Kong people speak Cantonese more, and I can manage a bit of Cantonese as well. But Mandarin is much more widely spoken, and you can talk to people in Singapore and Malaysia and Indonesia, wherever Chinese is spoken.
I know that's excellent, and thanks Vinod for that. And moving into Devaki Nandanji, you're there?
I'm very much there.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite tech tool?
So, tech tool, when you say it's mobile, I will say any mobile phone. But if you talk about, so I'm very good at VBA. So, I have saved so many hours of, making macros, automation, and I have saved so many hours of my company, my people doing automation. So, small amount of programming, but I like that. I like that basically.
Okay. And the person you admire the most?
Now, I will be giving my typical answer, so don't worry about this. I admire Ramdev ji. So, now he's a big businessman, this thing. But if you look before 20 years, he started with, I like him because he was the person who propagated and he promoted nationalism. Now he's, big businessman with so many brands, this, that. But he started yoga with almost, small stage, and now it's done in such a big way. So I appreciate him very much.
Okay. And again, one thing which is part of your bucket list.
Compose music for a Bollywood film. I don't know when.
Wow. We wish all the best to you. Hope to see you soon. And what's your favorite song in Hindi?
There are many songs which are very close to me, and especially I would say here, people say new songs are not good or old music. Old music was fantastic, but given the current situation, the use of technology, use of recording studios, big, and I love the new music also. It's like so many new songs are close to me, old songs are close to me. But I would say those songs where music directors have experimented something, which is not the usual. So I would mention two songs here. So if you remember that Ye Kahan Aa Gaye Hum Yun Hi Saath, it is a Silsila film. So the thing there is a narration and there is a Lata ji ki voice, that Lata's sound there and with narration. So that was a too good song to me. It's like typical different song. And there's one more song that was kahiye suniye kehte sunte baaton, like it was like talking and it was a song. So it was a typical. I really admire those music directors taking so much risk with the song. It's not like you have two lines and there is a paragraph and similar. It was so much beautiful song. It's so much experimentation with the music.
Oh, thank you. And Prabdeep, is there any questions from the audience?
Yes, Kala, the questions which we have are common questions, most of which have been answered, like, opportunities outside India, how technology is affecting our profession, and what is the best way to look for the opportunities outside India. So these are the questions which have come in from quite a number of the audience. Sure. But as they have been answered, if there is anything which, still we have 7-8 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. So I want to ask you this now. It's open to the panelists. We have been talking about this opportunities, the skills they need to have, technology upgrade. And what are the value systems that, if we ask, that we need to take forward? It's open to the panelists, please. Prabhaji, Venkaji.
One thing I would like to add in this, that what Venkatji has very correctly said, you must have deep passion whatever you do. I'm in profession because of deep passion for investigation, not because to earn money. Money will follow you. You don't have to look for the money. If you first look for the money and then go for the profession, you are nowhere. You first identify yourself. What is your basic core skill? Develop your basic core skill. And all the chartered accountants have their own basic core skills. We are 7-8 years. We all have different areas of expertise. Why? We all are chartered accountants. That is a common factor. But we all have developed ourselves in an area where we knew internally that I can do best in this field. And that's why I think we all are here and we all are different in different fields. So that is most important, to identify yourself, know your expertise, know your core expertise, which gives you pleasure, not compulsion. If you do anything out of compulsion, it becomes painful. But when you do out of passion, it is blissful. So that is what is most important in life.
Okay. Yeah. And I would like the other panelists also to add to this in 2 lines.
Yeah. Ownership is matters because, whatever you do, like he says, one is love and do it, but fully own it, integrate into what you do, because you have to be accountable for yourself, nobody else. Because if you are true to yourself, that's what I call it as integrity to your words and action. You say you will do something, do it. Right? Yes. Because you have to judge it. If you have done a mistake, admit it for yourself. And own it. Whatever you do, give it 100% of yourself. Don't expect like a potato, I've given this, what to return here. You have to see how I can contribute 100% of myself, which is what I call it as ownership. You will get back whatever you feel, the world will come back to you more than what you expect.
And Vinod?
I would like to tell the fresh crop of chartered accountants that, apart from all the personality development tips that our esteemed panelists have given, I think some of the basic things that you need to work towards improving is your communication skill. Because over a period of time, you will shift from a specific management role to general management role. You will find yourself speaking to your to audiences within the organization, to audiences outside. And when you expose yourself in that manner, you have to remember that you're not just yourself, you're ambassadors to the institute, to the country, to your organization. So it is very important that you need to, develop those skills, and those can be learned. These are acquired skills. Even simple things like writing emails, you need you need to know how to present your case forcibly and with proper grammatical good English. Somehow, I have not accustomed myself to the WhatsApp language. As far as possible, we should try to avoid that and, form proper structures of your sentences, etc. This may appear to be something, very simple and very mundane, but I assure you it's really very important in the course of your career.
Yeah, I think you well mentioned, because WhatsApp has literally killed the grammar, I believe, the grammar of English, right? So, no, that's true, because we all like short message, right? No prepositions, no articles.
No.
Right. I'm just telling that, but yes, and I think I've seen ICAI have also come up with, because see, for a chartered, it creates opportunity for all the chartered accountants, and they're also starting the English courses as well. Thanks, Vinod. Next to Krishna.
Yeah, thanks, Kalai. In fact, I wanted to answer a few questions, but I think Prabhadeep mentioned that they are already common, and I wanted to do rapid round with you as well, but I hope that's okay. But just adding to points that everybody mentioned, there are two things I wanted to add. Somewhere Ashish mentioned about the career growth, and he gave an example of he not really knowing the subject matter, and then leading the people below him, right? For that matter. So I actually also sometimes face that, and I want to give these tips to young ones who recently qualified, is also observe people around you, also work in collaboration with people. That is extremely important. What we see when we pass out, we try to become a very specialist in probably in a tax or any domain that you choose. I think it is extremely important to have big picture, because ultimately, in my personal experience, how we actually go to the ladder is ultimately then people manager, right? We need to know how to manage people, how to probably convince them, how to keep them happy. And it's all about, like probably you must have heard, it's every time it is about your boss, not about the company, or I would say it's all about the people and the atmosphere that you create. So this is one tips I wanted to give about the career progression. And second is also, I think we widely talked about is please avoid stereotypes. So I remember, when I was chosen for the Japan opportunity at Infosys, a lot of noise was, I'm a vegetarian, by the way, that, hey, when you go to Japan, you must have to, eat so many, stuffs which is not vegetarian and so on. And, probably Japan is also seen like other Asia, or it's not US or UK. The things are very stereotyped, right? I landed here and I kind of, 2014 was the year, and I remember Japan was celebrating 50th anniversary of bullet trains. And it was 50th year anniversary, There are so many things that are there to learn. Please keep your mind open, avoid stereotype. World has literally changed. Just open to learn anything, be mobile, and I think world is for you. It's open for all of us, and I think we are the ones who can do everything that we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Devika Nandanji.
I think most of the things are covered by other panelists, but one thing is like be curious, and what Ashish ji and others tell, there is no substitute for hard work. That's it.
Very good.
Thanks. Ashish?
Ms. Kala, I think from professional side, I'll say ethics and integrity, as Mr. Venkat said. I mean, these are the two key things which you have to have. But apart from this, I'll say one thing from personal front, that your personal health is very, very important. And especially when you're starting your career, you indulge into like a lot of, okay, I'll do this, I'll prove myself. That is correct. I mean, I'll not say it's incorrect, but take care of your health also. You'll not know by the time you'll put on like 5 kg of weight and then you'll realize, okay, what has happened to me? So be cautious about yourself also. Work will always be there. And if you are ready to solve the problem, you'll obviously solve it. But take care of yourself. I mean, that's the thing which I learned a bit late in my career. But the day I learn, I try to follow it. So sooner you learn, it will be better for you.
Thanks. Well said. I think all the panelists have covered the points well, health.
I will request Kalaji to mention how she maintains the balance between family and the office. Because she is extremely active at both places, So I think your version will be very, very effective and important for the listeners. Please share with us.
Okay, so as I said, what I believe is when I do something, I have to do passionately. I need to have interest and do happily. So when you do something passionately and happily, you won't feel like you're doing that. So either with my association with the chapter, so I don't feel that I'm doing it. And when you feel stressed is when you're not interested, right? And then listen to good things, have positive mind, because I believe in positivity. So if I talk to you, I have to get the positive vibes and I have to spread the positive energy, right? And courage, thanks to my mother and God. So Venkat is smiling on this. Courage. I believe in that strong, not only physical courage, moral courage. Do what is right. When it is wrong, tell it is wrong, right? At the same time, when you make a mistake, accept it. Simple things. Acceptance, move forward. Don't defend it. Correct it. So I think these are the basic simple things that when you do passionately and with interest and happily you do. And today I was extremely happy to have all the panelists here and sharing your wonderful thoughts and insights. It's not only, I think you covered about the opportunities, you covered all the aspects, including which Ashish said, the physical health or meditation or to know why. First they say Swadharma and then Sanatana Dharma. First, be true to you, be good to you. This I is, this is you is very important. So thanks for this.
Yakala, I just wanted to add one more question to you specifically because you represent the, female fellow members as well here. I would say you are the only female speaker. And really great that when you led Singapore chapter. What's the message that you want to give to, their female fellow members, specifically or the students for overseas and Asia or any opportunities that we have outside India?
Right.
Yeah.
See, first of all, I would say throughout my life, I've never seen the gender biased. To me, it is not about men or women. You perform. You will, wherever it is, first woman needs to understand, don't be within yourself. Don't be in a shell. Come out. Open up. Speak out. Many of the thing I've seen there are a lot of talents, but they don't come forward and speak. Okay. So here in this world, I'm telling you, everyone is nice. Everyone is a gentleman. If you go to an organization, people look at your performance. You perform. It's not about the gender. It's so that I strongly believe and that I've experienced in my work or in my chapter. Venkat is here. So it's not about you're the only woman or anything, right? What you see is, it's all are equal. When we say equality, what do you mean by equal? You perform, you also work, I also work. So all the women, what I would say is, whether you have a family, don't think this is a constraint to us. Every challenge, look at an opportunity. We have to create an opportunity. It doesn't, you create an opportunity. When you don't see the opportunity, you create an opportunity. If there is a challenge, see what is the opportunity into it. So the choice is ours. You want to sit and cry or you want to act. So to all the female, this is how we have been created, men and women. You need a family life also. You cannot ignore that. Right? So you have to take it in your stride. Have both, enjoy both. Work also you enjoy with your colleagues. You also enjoy with your family. And I think somebody was telling you need to have a work-life balance. Do that. And Venkat was telling, go with the nature, date with the nature. Weekends are there, right? So this is what my advice to come forward, speak out, take roles, challenge it. There is nothing, nowadays we have landed in space also, there's nothing that you cannot do, I cannot do, nothing like that. Everything is possible, right?
Yes.
Thanks, Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kala. My sincere gratitude to all the panelists today, where we had experienced and young panelists, and the message which will pass on to the members will make a significant difference in their lives when they have either just started their career or are into their 4th year of employment. We have covered 6 countries today, wherein 5 countries have a significant presence, and Vietnam is another country which we have just added. And the members are getting added in the country, I'm sure. Members will look into the opportunities and use the insights which have been passed on to them. So thank you so much. Sincere gratitude on the behalf of the committee chairman, C. Hansraj Chugh, and vice chairman, C. Durgesh Kabra. And today is the first day. We have started the first day with a great fervor and enthusiasm. And tomorrow we have the 2 topics to be covered, which you have talked about. We have a generalist, C. Amit Arora, who will start with self-improvement. And second session, we have C.A. Sriram Gopalakrishnan from Kuwait, who will talk about acing your interview and presentation skills. So I would request all participants and members here today to be back here tomorrow. And thank you so much once again. Stay safe, take care, good night, bye-bye.
Thank you.